right, I'm back. I don't know for how long. My internet went down. So, that's just part of the joys of YouTube. You never know. We were playing with this, putting on a background, if you remember. And I'm just going to dry it. Hey! My internet went down, Doc. I'm just going to dry this. Hopefully it'll stay up. It's been acting funny lately. I think I'm going to have to get a new router or something. So how you been doing, Doc? Hope you've been feeling good. Hey, Lisa. Yeah, my internet went down. I don't know if it's the snow squall thing or my router. So I want to get this fairly dry in between applications because it isn't watercolor paper, so I don't want it to start to peel or peel. Mine has been flaky too, yeah. Oh, see, starting to come apart there. That's not good. I have to tape that now. So, once that gets wet, that's not good. Well, that's good to know. Paper might be good as far as painting on, but not good for a lot of wet. See, this one's not, but that part is. Alright, so let's continue this, and I'm going to make it a little more on the orangey side, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna put a little bit of orange in there. Lots and lots of water. Oh, I hope that Janet and Michelle find their ways over. Yeah, they should. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of water on this side, right in here. And just add a little bit of that. It's kind of a pinky orange color. Just here and there. Even in here. Some of the trees are keeping their leaves, so they're going to be a little bit on the orangey side. And right in through here. I'm going to try and stay away from that center as far as putting too much water in there. And then a little bit more blue on there. This side's a little more on the mauvey side, so we'll put more of that blue in there and change that again. And just a little darker in here, right in here. Gonna soften the edges. Like that. Alright, and then I'm going to dry it again. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I had to close it because it would have kept circling, I think. Must be someone at the door. My son's upstairs, but... All right, so as you can see the pinky, purpley, it's an odd shade, more on the pinky orange side, and this is more mauvey in here. A little lighter right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting some of the real distant trees. So again, that's into the more mauve shade. So we want that purpley mauve shade. I'm going to put a little bit of orange in it this time though, just to gray that down a little bit. Don't want to waste that. And then we'll just start doing some of the lower tree. You can put in as many as you want. These will be fairly small, like narrow, so don't put them too thick. This is papers kind of. I'm going to put make them different widths and tilted. Some of them would be tilted. They're not all going to be straight. Some might be falling over, or, you know. This is crinkled a bit, so my tree trunks are going to be a little bit on the wobbly side. Oh, thanks, Michelle. That was fun to do. I'm going to take a smaller brush. This is a number 6. This one's a little bit of a stiffer bristle to it, so it's a little bit more control. And my back. Can you see me now? My back? It went out again. If it goes out again, guys, I'm just going to give up. And I'll have to call my internet provider, see what they can do. That's crazy. It just keeps going out. Alright, well, we'll do what we can. It's frustrating. So I'm just putting the back trees in. Can make them lighter, darker, but stay with those colors that you have for the background. You can cross them, make some a little bit thicker. It is because of bad weather at your end. I don't know. It's been acting like this for this week. Sometimes it says bad connection, sometimes it says it's the router, so I don't know. Check for, yeah, exactly. It's the fairies, the internet fairies are acting up. Well, they're sure not getting a raise from me, that's for sure. Okay, so just a bunch of lines, and then you can take even a thinner brush. Let's see, I've got that one and a thinner one, and make the smaller branches on the top. Doing the same thing with the same colors, but this time you're just doing even smaller lines. So just make those splits in the tree or a bunch of branches. And just have fun with it. Just enjoy what you're doing. A lot of times too, especially in trees, some trees kind of have wiggly looking branches, and that's usually because of the way they grow per season. So you'll see a little jagged mark. They're not smooth looking. They're usually you go and then stop and then turn a little bit, and then you can continue off of that. It gives it a little bit of a more realistic look to the branch when you do that. So it's kind of good even to have a little bit too much coffee and do it. Or stop and go, like go, stop, go, and then just add a branch on those stop sections. You can change the colors up a little bit by adding a little bit more blue to your work, or a little more water to make it even more pastel-y. Just play with it. But we want a fair amount of these lines in. Now I think I might take a sponge also. You can do that and add some kind of lines with sponge so it looks a little bit more fake. As far as it's not, I don't know how you do. It's the little wee tiny branches that the leaves were on. You kind of want to make those, but you're doing it in a fake way. So I'm going to just put a few more in here. Maybe some darker ones. And like some of the trees are tilted. Yeah, you always have some tilted trees, unless it's a forest bush area where they keep care of them. Mostly in the wild, you'll see them tilted, or broken ones even. One's laying over the other, maybe because of a windstorm, or a lot of times the bush areas have soggy ground. A lot of maples, you'll see that. Just keep putting them in. There's lots and lots of trees in this thick forestrated area. A lot of times you'll see too is on the bottom, you'll see the bottom part a little bit more than the top. So make the bottom a little bit stronger, a color, and that also looks cool. Okay, let's put, this is one of those real sponges, sea sponge. So I'm going to take some, I'm going to wet it because I don't want it too dry. And then I'm just going to dip this in, and then I'm just going to go across the top. And this kind of gives that illusion of small branches in the tree. But it doesn't cover up your background completely. And it saves you a whole bunch of time. So then I can take a little bit more, let's see, maybe we'll make some more of that orangey color. I'll show you in a minute. A little bit of that. Some orange. Maybe a little yellow in there. There. Then I'm going to take that sponge and then just more or less in this area, I'm going to put a little bit of that in. I want that to be a little more concentrated in here. Right in here. It just goes back in here. And a little bit up in here. Like that. I'll bring you guys down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There. So it's very, very light. Your background is very light. Okay. I think that's good enough for you. Now let's dry that, and then we'll put some darker, more middle ground in. Miranda? Is it? I'm terrible with names. Mariah. Thanks. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Mariah. I want this fairly dry, because we're not working on any watercolor paper, sorry. Alright, so let's see, I'm going to kind of put in this here, this line here, where the back of the snow is, and then we'll put some trees over that. So I'm going to just let's see, I'm going to make a little bit more of that purpley color. So that was the cobalt, but I'll just use this cobalt color. And a little bit of, let's use a little of that. And really water down. I'm gonna make my bottom area here just dipping, because the snow kind of dips down, and just so we know where the edge of that snow is. And then before that dries, just take clean water and go along the edge, so you got a fairly clean edge in there. Okay. So now we can put in some of the bigger trees. So we want a fairly big brush, and this time we're going to use some of this burnt umber. So get a I want it fairly thick. I don't want it watered down. I'm going to get some of that. And to darken it so that it's almost black, you want to add a fairly dark blue. So either, let's see if this French ultramarine might work. It might be a little bit too light though. We'll see what happens. Oh, I'm not even in camera for you. So it's a nice dark, it's not black, it's more of a charcoal brown, I guess you could say. So let's make a bunch of that. I want a fair amount. So it's fairly thick on my brush here. There are a few that are lighter, so I'm going to take, just on this side, add a little bit of water. I just want it a little bit lighter, but I don't want to get all of it too watered down. So I've got a bit on the side here, and I'm going to put in a few, just a little bit heavier consistency, a little darker, I guess you could say. And try to get the thickness like that. And these would be a little bit thicker. There's a few in here, not too thick. They're a little bit darker. So this is the mid-tone. Maybe one in here. Okay, and I do have some branches coming off those, so you want to use the same color to make your branches. And you can decide, you know, how many branches you want in there. But you want it the same color. There might be a few smaller ones coming up. They call whips. Have a good work day, Devin. Okay, now I want to darken it some really dark, so I want much thicker pigment load on my brush this time, because I want it really dark. And these ones are going to be up front, so they're going to be in the snow a little bit, and they'll be thicker. I'll be showing the bottom part a little bit more. So we'll put one in here, maybe a smaller one. More. One in here. And a skinny one. And then this one, put in here. And then we do the same thing with the limbs. Now you can take a smaller brush. Let's take a smaller brush and do this. I'm still using the same just very tip of my brush. Overlap. These are beech trees. So they kind of have their, they do grow from the bottom up if you let them, but they have their branches more or less sticking out the side. So if you're going to really pay attention to, let's put a little bit of indigo in here with that, make it dark. So if you really want to pay attention to how trees grow, you can take a look at that. Just study a tree. Get out in nature. And they're very branchy. There's lots of branches, lots of small branches on them. And they do grow, once they're established, they do grow quite quickly. Let's see, we'll put some in this one. So I have my paintbrush not on a slant at all, parallel to me. That way you get, it's a little easier to control your brush when doing line work like this. Let's give it a try. And I'm just using the very tip of my brush. I like a little bit of a stiffer brush when I'm doing this. And this doesn't have a really long bristle either. These are, what are they called again? These were really a good price. Oh, what were they called? Here's a bigger one. Wonder Forest round. I'll have to look. I've got her book. She has a book out. I'll show you. Remind me. Notorious for forgetting things. Because you get a set, and I think it was $36 Canadian, and that was a really good. And they're excellent for watercolor. You could use them for acrylic too, but I love them. Let's see, put a few in here, some very narrow ones. So just have fun and paint a bunch of twigs. Put in as many or as few as you want. It's your forest. Do what you want. Right, maybe a little bit in here. And it holds quite a bit of paint, which I like, so you don't have to continually be going back into your paint every second. Oh, thanks, Lena. You're right on it. Okay, so let's try that again. Kathy, I haven't answered your email back. That's fine. Whenever you can. Don't worry about it. Good to see you, Kitty. Kitty Jen, or Jennifer, I think it was, you said. Okay, so now I'm going to darken again. See how it's a little bit darker on one side of these main trees. So I want to darken it just on that one side, and I'm going to do that with a little bit more of that indigo and that burnt umber, just to get it really dark. Let's see. And just going down the one side, just a little bit. This one has a split in it, so do that. And maybe this here. And this one. A little bit more. I think I'm going to make it a little wider on the bottom here. And this one, skinny one. And a little bit on this one. All right. And then I'm just going to fix the bottoms. It shouldn't be jagged like this, because the snow would be smoother looking around the bottom parts. So just add a little bit of swooping. Just a little bit, so it's a little more smooth looking. Okay, and then dry that. Hey, Carol. Tired of the snow? We got a dump done last night, about a foot. We're supposed to get another foot probably today. Snow squalls off the lake. Right, now we can put in a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that well enough. There's a few specks of shadow in here, and there's some tree leaves and a little bit of brush in there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this again because it's just kind of speckled. And I'm going to use the cerulean blue. Let's clean this off first, the top part. I don't want it too dirty. Oh, you got more last night too? You guys don't normally get that much snow. I'm glad I don't have to drive there anymore. Well, for work anyways. So I used to drive there every second week to get my supplies for work. So I want it a little bit, and I'm just going to dab ever so lightly along the bottom here. And then you can take a little bit on your brush and you can swoop some of it just to show a little bit of shadow in the snow. Maybe there's a little bit of drifting going on. And then I'm going to do a little bit of that with the dark color too, just to give some specks of leaves and brush that are in the snow. And I'm just going to use that color that was used for the tree. Now we can also take a small brush, and there's some little sticks, little trees start trying to grow there, and we can put some of those in if you want. You don't have to, but they're kind of cool if you put them in. Just makes them a little realistic. I think these are pine trees, pretty pitiful, but it's under a huge amount of shade tree. Just a few little sticks and whatnot. Maybe some bigger marks. I had a few. Maybe there's another poor old pine tree trying to grow there. It's getting beat up by the snow and animals and whatnot. Bit of stumps maybe? Who knows? Covered by. And then there's a few little, now you can get a fan brush if you want to do this. It's a very nice fan brush. And make some little marks on the back here. Just wisps. And then there's a little bit of, see the yellow in here? They're probably beech trees that are trying to grow. So let's take a little bit of raw sienna. I'm just gonna, I want it splayed. Just on that, it looks like right on, just a few marks, dabs here and there. And then, let's see, I'm going to try the orange leaves here with orange. They're fairly bright on this thing. I'm going to put a little bit of sienna with that. Dull it down a little bit. There. Maybe a little yellow too. There. And I want it splayed. Let's see if we can do it. So, as you can see, they grow across. So, I'm going to put just a few. Just in some areas here. This isn't exactly what the photograph looks like, but it's just a reference, so not necessarily going exactly, just a reference. A few in here. Little. Right, and let's dry that. And then you can either take your small brush again and fix some of those lines. Let's see, or you could take a marker or a pen and put the finer details in if you wanted to. Let's see if I can do this or not. Just showing that there's some kind of branch there. I might like it better with the, well, we'll see. We'll try do a little bit of pen work on this too, just to see if we can fix it up. Let's see. There's a 3, should do. That's a 0.3. So then I could just go in here, put some smaller lines in here, and just add the real fine details in. You could even use a 1 on this one. I'm just not drawing a line per se, but kind of dotting the area in between the leaves, so it shows that there is a branch there, but some of the leaves are covering it. This one. Depends how, detailed. It's up to you. This is just fun for me because, like I said, I love detail. So I could spend hours doing this type of stuff. You just think in your head, how is the branch facing? Where would the smaller branches be? Is it facing toward you? Is it on the side? There would be some without leaves. Not all of them would have. Here. Just helps it give it a little bit more dimension when you do this. A lot of times your eye will fill in the blanks of what it is. See, now what I could do, am I still on? Yep. Just had to make sure. It's so weird. There. I think I need to make this a little bit thicker. Right in here. That. Maybe some dots in there. Actually, make this a little bit darker in here, I think. just glaze right over top of it. Same with here, a little bit darker. I'm going to leave this open a little bit. This could be a little darker in here. And then I think I'm going to put some more of that orange in here. Just in the background. Just a smidge. Dry it. Hey, Mary. Alright, so now what I can do, the main focal points are this, and this tree. So the ones closest to you, you could actually use your marker and put in some more detail if you want, just to give it more interest. Depending on, you might not be able to see a whole lot, but just a little bit can make a big difference. I'm just going to do some jagged lines along the edge here, just kind of show that it's bark. Not a lot, but enough that your eye will go and look at it. Probably define the edges a little bit more. Any of the limbs that are crossing it, put a little bit of a darker line there so it doesn't look like it's kind of floating. Like I said, I could play with this for a long time. You do whatever suits you. It's your book. I'm just showing you ideas of what's possible. But it's this particular one is very, very beginner friendly. So I hope you'll try it. Give it a go. There's no wrong way of doing these. It's just play with it. See what I love doing this part because the lines are dark enough in on the bark, like the trunk of the tree. It's not right in your face, so if you make a mistake, no one's going to know. And bark is all different. I'm just putting in a bunch of squiggly lines here and there just to show that it's rough. More about the texture of the tree than what's really in the photograph. The photograph, they don't show a whole lot. It's more smooth looking. But just to have more interest in the painting itself, I like to put lines in it. It just, I don't know, I like detail. So play with what you like to do. Is there anyone else that loves to do detail like I do? Like loves to play with it? Oh, thanks, Dot. Oh, really, Nettie? That's funny. These kids these days. So I'm just concentrating on the pen work in the areas that are in front. I'm not going to do any detail because that would lose the perspective on the if you did some on the back ones, so you don't want to do that. Just the ones that are up in front. And you're just suggesting things. They are very, very twiggy, I guess you could say. These could be a little darker. A little thicker in here. This one was one of those pines, I think. I'm just going to put some dabs on, make it look different. This one has some broken branches maybe. Whoa, sorry. Off camera, got carried away. A bit more in here. Yeah, I like the pen work. I think it just finishes detail. Because you can get such a fine mark. Just gives it that little extra that you wanted. Like I said, you don't have to do all, like every single tree, just the ones in the front. That's all you need. Did I mark that? Yep. I think that's good. Well, this is a log, I think. Few dark areas, specks, maybe tree leaves, limbs maybe. Just put a few squiggles, whatever. So it wouldn't be pristine in the snow. Be little marks. I might even put some few of these in. Just a few. There. There we go. And I gotta do this one and then we're probably done. So hope you'll try it. Just play with it. Get your pens out, and you don't need a whole lot of paint either. So just sit down. If you don't want to use this photo, just make something up. No one's gonna say that's not the way that forest looks. Right? They don't know where it is. There's no way they can. So just have fun with it. I follow some of the lighter and darker lines of the paint that it made, and you can do that and it looks cool. Kind of resembles bark. I said, just play with it. Fun experiment. Could do a whole book on just trees and leaves, really. Making different marks. There. All right. So there's the finished result. Oh, should I put a little bunny in there? Good. Just a shadow of one. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Let's see. Just a little one. Little jackrabbit. Just let it dry. All right, I think it's done. So I hope you'll try it, see what you can do, and post it on Instagram if you want to, and I'd love to see it. Just put hashtag Kathy or paint with Kathy Arbor so I can see it, and just get your books out. Doesn't have to be watercolor paper. Just play. Do a sketch first, and then put watercolor over top if that's the way you want to do it. Lurking and watching, and this, you make it look doable. Yeah, it is doable. Barbara, thanks for coming. It's a simple one for beginners, and hopefully it'll give you enough confidence to try some other stuff. We should remind you. Oh, about the book. Thank you, Lena. Thank you. Let me find it first. Let's see. Okay, I gotta. It's in the other room. Just hold on. I think. I put it? I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. I thought I had it right on the desk here, but it's not here. So I'm thinking I must have left it upstairs. I think I must have left it upstairs, guys. I'll have to make a note. It's the link that Lena had for the brushes. You'll see her, I think she has 2 or 3 books out now, but they're for beginners and they're so cute. I can't think of the name of it even, but I will show it next time, or Thursday. I'll go look for it right after the stream, and then I'll show it on Thursday. So Thursday we'll be doing another acrylic painting. Probably something more in the spring line. I think I'm tired of doing snow now. I think I've had enough of snow. We'll put a little snow in it, maybe spring flowers coming up or something like that. Or is there something you would like me to show how to paint? If so, leave a comment. Give me a suggestion for Thursday, and I'll see what I can muster up. Let's, he's got funny ears here. Today is the 25th. Well, thanks for coming, guys, and you have a fantastic evening or day, morning, whatever it is for you, and we'll see you on Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern p.m. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.